Good evening. Thanks for clicking on our link and joining us for this Zoom event live from Syracuse University. I'm Ken Frieden. In my literature classes, I've been asking students to write and perform original stand-up comedy. And this year, I also arranged workshops with Stephen Rosenfield, who directs the American Comedy Institute in Manhattan. The students just blew us away with their creativity. They have a lot to say about life before, during, and after 2020. Humor helped all of us get through this strange year to arrive at our virtual stage tonight. We're excited to have you with us, an invisible audience beyond Syracuse. Are you ready? Our first performer coming to the screen is a tall and witty guy from Portland, Oregon. Please welcome Griffin Palmer.
I'm an art student. That is, I'm functionally illiterate. The only way I can do research is by hitting the Google Images tab. My paper for the Roman Colosseum was entirely based off of a Gladiators movie poster. And unfortunately, my teacher was not interested in my in-depth analysis of Russell Crowe's forearms. I'm Griffin. That's because my parents loved Harry Potter so much, they named me after the Gryffindors. They were teetering on child abuse. The Gryffindor's animal is the lion. It's strong, brave, charismatic. Turns out I'm a Hufflepuff. Our animal is the badger. Conveniently, badgering is now how my parents would describe me. All I did was ask for therapy one time. After being denied therapy, I turned to the next best thing, astrology. And it was great. At first, I learned my overeating and oversleeping isn't because I'm depressed. It's because I'm a Taurus. Then things started getting out of control. When I was saying things like, no, officer, it's not considered public indecency if you're a Libra rising. My favorite part of English class growing up was banned books, because I kind of feel like they're for bad boys. It's like, pass me the American Spirits and the Grapes of Wrath. I was assigned to read The Great Gatsby 3 times. So 3 separate times, I had to rent that movie like a total bad boy. The Great Gatsby was originally banned because it had contents of sexual assault and rape. I mean, obviously they unbanned it because these days those things will just get you nominated to the Supreme Court. As you know, there's a new justice on the court, Amy Boney Carrot. She makes me sad for kids' futures because some people don't care and love for children. And it's crucial that we protect them at all costs. They're the most vulnerable people on this whole planet. Because they're idiots, I have never met a 4-year-old who had any skills. Now, I'm not expecting proficiency in Microsoft Excel, but at the least, PowerPoint. Over the summer, I worked as a security guard at a kids' art camp, a job Paul Blart, the mall cop, is woefully overqualified for. I think they hired me because obviously I'm very intimidating. No, I think the real reason they hired me was to prevent kidnappings. Because if a van pulls up and they're looking to snatch the first kid they find, they just take me. And I know what you're thinking. Don't flatter yourself. They wouldn't want you. That's where we disagree. I think I am very kidnappable. I am the 2005 Honda of people. At the very least, they could get decent money selling me for parts. Sure, the liver shot. The eyes clearly aren't working, but I've got a decent trunk. My favorite part of the job was seeing what bowling was like these days. It's not like when I was a kid. Ooh, Griffin sounds like Sharpay Evans. Ooh, Griffin, sing Bop to the Top. You know, the kind of bowling that just wipes away all your inhibitions. It's changed. Like one day, I saw this kid point to this other camper's drawing, and he said, "That line is as straight as my sister. And she's bisexual." Obviously, the camp made me have a talk with him afterwards, but sexuality is not something you should joke about. And for the future, the roast would work better if you just say she's gay. When I was little, my mom picked our family's Halloween costumes. I remember one year I was a Dalmatian and she was Cruella de Vil. It's a little disheartening. She went as a literal puppy murderer. But the next year it got worse. I mean, obviously, she was Cruella again, and I was a fur coat. I remember my girlfriend broke up with me in high school. My mom's advice was to take the newt she had gotten me for my birthday and nail it to her front door. Felt a little extreme, but as I was nailing the newt to the front door, it dawned on me, maybe my mother's confused. That might explain why she dressed up as Cruella. To her, Cruella de Vil is the hero of that story. An entrepreneur, a successful small business owner. So what if a couple of pups got in the way? And honestly, 101 Dalmatians, Cruella was doing some needed population control. And we're not talking about full-grown dogs. These are merely puppies. Cruella is expanding the boundaries of what it means to be pro-choice. My mom posted a quote online the other day. Trust is good, control is better. Thanks, Mom. Do you know who said that? Joseph Stalin, a dictator and a Slytherin who purged all of his enemies, or he sent them to Siberia, a cold, desolate place. Maybe that's why she sent me to Syracuse. Thank you. Up next from Potsdam, New York, is a funny guy with high hopes for the future. Let's hear it for Lucas Snell.
Thank you, Griffin. So, my dad told me that masturbating would make me go blind. I was only 4, so I believed him. That Thanksgiving, my grandfather announced that he was going blind. So, I told him what I knew about that. He threw a spoon at me, and he hit my sister 10 feet away. Clearly, Grandpa had been getting busy. I'm from Potsdam, New York. People I meet say, but you look like a douchebag from Connecticut, which is really just a polite way of saying you have more teeth than I expected. I'm the first person from my area to attend SU, which is surprising considering it's only an 8-hour track ride away. My dad was a state police detective. He wanted me to follow in his footsteps in law enforcement. I shared his interest in the law, evading it. So I went off to become a criminal. That's to say, I'm going into finance, and I joined a fraternity. Right after getting accepted, the dean of my business school got arrested for soliciting prostitutes. This was a major red flag for me. If their top guy couldn't get away with routine misdemeanors, how could they expect to turn me into a successful criminal? I stopped worrying after we got the bill for the first semester. They were masters of extortion. My first semester, I loaded up on relevant classes, tax fraud, business law, business ethics. I got a D in each one. Safe to say my criminal career was off to a great start. SU even introduced me to an on-campus criminal organization, Delta Kappa Epsilon. They shared my enthusiasm for crime and my 2.5 GPA. Notable brothers included Brett Kavanaugh and both Bushes. Clearly, their brand of crime worked, so I called it home. This year, I'm a advocate for the fraternities. It's my job to make sure frats don't spread COVID. An outbreak happened right in my own house. So the university put us in quarantine at a Motel 6. It was nice. Instead of sharing a disgusting bathroom, we each got our own. I even got to see my old dean and his lady. The SU administration announced that no transmissions have occurred in the classroom. Guilty again. Evidence my frat brothers and I have been skipping class. Thank you. Up next, please welcome from Scranton, Pennsylvania, Allison Sugar.
Thank you. So let's talk family reunions. Some families are really diverse. They have people flying in from Mexico, Canada, but my family, we got people coming in with bipolar, depression, anxiety, you name it, someone's got it. So our family reunions, they look more like a psych ward, except it's just the patients because the staff gave up and dipped. And you know, people complain all the time about reunions, but I hate when people try to argue me that theirs is crazier than mine. It's like, oh, boo-hoo, your family can't decide what episodes to watch on Netflix. Meanwhile, my family has episodes while watching Netflix. You and your family tried to get on Family Feud, but couldn't decide which family member should go? Meanwhile, my family couldn't decide who to send to Dr. Phil. So, at least my family members have medicines and therapy. I can't even get help for my problem. To clarify, I don't even have a disorder. I just look way too young for my age, and it's really annoying. Everyone underage is getting a fake ID, but I didn't even try. How am I supposed to convince a bouncer that I'm 21 when I can't even convince the person at the box office that I'm old enough to see A Star is Born without my parents? Come on, like A Star is Born? When I was 10, I watched Lady Gaga cover her body with raw beef at the MTV Awards. I think at 20, I can handle a romantic musical. One time I was doing 35 and a 25, and then I saw the sirens behind me and I was like, are you serious? No one even drives 25. But I pulled over, I was freaking out. I said, officer, I'm so sorry. I didn't even realize. Turns out, officer didn't even know I was speeding. He just thought I was running away from home or driving away from home. Now I introduce myself to adults as a college junior, because if I don't, I'll typically get a, oh, so you're taking the SAT soon? Are you nervous? Actually, Karen, I'm nervous that when I celebrate my 21st in a month, the bouncer is going to cut my ID in half. But I cut my hair recently, and a few people said I actually look a little older. My Uncle Scott says I look 17. It's not only adults who think I'm too young. I still get 16-year-old boys DMing me, telling me I'm cute. Can a high school sophomore at least say I'm hot? One time I went out to eat with my boyfriend and we got menus, and I was hopeful because the server handed my boyfriend the wine list. He got this laminated brochure with gold edges, but I got a single sheet of paper with a pack of crayons. I just went along with it. I was like, oh, this wine list has connect the dots. How fun. He said, did you see the Merlot? And I said, I can't find that one in the word search. And he said, okay, what about the Chardonnay? And I said, oh, you mean the chicken nougat? Another time I was at the dentist and I was really enjoying this episode of Criminal Minds they had playing in the waiting room. But then the lady from the desk walked in and changed the station to Nick Jr. Yeah, but there are some positives to looking this young. I get discounts. I don't get judged when I shop in the youth section for shoes to fit my kid's size 3. And I can even fly first class for free, as long as I sit on somebody's lap. One time I flew alone at 17, and the stewardess came over to me and said, sweetheart, would you like to move up so you'll feel more comfortable and safe? I just went along with it and I said, yeah, that would help. And I really miss my mommy. So she said, all right, honey, we can throw you in first class. Would you like some cookies? Maybe a soda? And I was like, no, but could you give me a double Jim Beam? Thank you. So now our next comedian is an aspiring screenwriter from Fairfax, Virginia. Please give a warm welcome to Griffin.
Thank you. Oh, great to be here. All right. So I live in an attic with 2 roommates. I thought it would be a good learning experience, and it has, actually. What I've learned is that I am not properly equipped to take care of myself at all. I guess I could have learned that anywhere. Didn't really need the attic to figure that out. But I cook my own meals now. I used to enjoy cooking growing up, so I thought it would be fun. But I've been doing it for a couple of months now, and this shit sucks. I hate it. Cooking was a lot more fun at my parents' house when they actually had money to buy kitchen supplies and food. I open the fridge now, just making it up as I go. Like, you can put a hot dog on a bagel, right? My roommates are both guys. Living with guys is dumb. We don't share our groceries, but we all buy the exact same food for ourselves. It's so stupid. And we do not need to have 72 eggs in the fridge at the same time. One of them will walk into my room like, hey, have you seen my Trader Joe's frozen meatballs? And I'll be like, I don't know, man. Are they next to my Trader Joe's frozen meatballs? I'm so bad at grocery shopping. The first time we went shopping for the apartment, I forgot to buy bread, but I remembered to grab 5 different bottles of Cholula hot sauce. I love Cholula though, so that was a great purchase. But now we have 15 bottles of Cholula and 0 spoons. We don't have nearly enough silverware for some reason. We spent the first month of the semester sharing a single set of utensils that we would always forget to wash because we were disgusting. So every Friday night, I'd have to scramble around the kitchen like, shit, my girlfriend's coming over. Is the fork clean? You ever seen someone that's too attractive to be doing the job that they're doing? They'll look like a model, but they're working the register at a CVS. Like, something does not make sense here. I thought pretty people were supposed to have it easy in this world. There's no reason Kate Upton should be scanning my Tylenol right now. I went to a Benihana the other day, and our chef was just way too sexy. Like, way too sexy to be cooking at a Japanese steakhouse chain. I was like, this is inappropriate. I should not be this turned on at a restaurant. I would understand if I was at like a Hooters and the staff was making me feel some type of way. Like, that's just American, right? But this is not Hooters. I should not be getting aroused by the man stacking an onion volcano in front of my family. I was seriously concerned though. I was like, how did you get here? You're tall and jacked. You could have been an actor, a pro athlete, I don't know, a samurai. What went so horribly wrong in your life that your only career option was flipping shrimp into people's mouths? I didn't actually say any of that to him though. He was a very large man, plus he had the knives in his hands. I just ate my fried rice and said thank you. I love Benihana though. I didn't realize until embarrassingly late that Benihana was a chain and not some Michelin star fine dining establishment situated conveniently in the middle of my local mall. I was like, damn, this place is high class. Like, glad I put on my collared shirt for this outing. And then my mom shamefully informed me that they were actually a global corporation with 116 locations around the world. Apparently they're everywhere. I had no idea. Little Rock, Arkansas even has a Benihana for some reason. I wasn't aware that Asians had already migrated that far in from the coast. Like, does Arkansas even have soy sauce? I'm very confused as to how this location operates. I'm just imagining one very lonely Japanese man with a cowboy hat and a fake accent. I would not be surprised if the chefs at Benihana Little Rock did not have accents. They probably put on fake ones just to entertain the poor Arkansas people, because I'm sure they don't know the difference, right? All you got to do is bow and say, oh, and they'll all applaud like, wow, he's so authentic. Oh my God. Thank you. Thank you very much. Next up, we have a very funny and artistic gal from Evansville, Indiana. Give it up for Bridget Gismondi.
Hi. So a boy asked me out once. I'm gay, so that was more than enough. But I hadn't realized that in 7th grade when Max asked me on a date to his baseball game. Side note, why doesn't baseball have a time limit? Football is also incredibly boring, but at least it pretends it'll only take an hour. I didn't spot Max until the 8th inning, but compared to the other players, he was a real hunk. These shrimps didn't even have their front teeth. Finally, I saw Max's number 13 at bat. He seemed to have shrunk 6 inches. And as he turned the corner to run to home, I was greeted by the toothless grin of an 8-year-old. I'd spent 3 hours in the blazing sun for a boy, and it wasn't even the right game. Sometimes people ask me, Bridget, what made you gay? And I say, baseball. It took me a while to figure out I was gay. When my brother came out to our parents, I thought, okay, so we've reached the family quota. No more gay kids. Neither me or my brother are out to our extended family yet, so we've been fighting over who will come out first. You might ask, why don't you guys come out at the same time? But I have spent my entire life having to share everything with him. Toys, TV, bathroom, dog, friends, house, parents, DNA, and now sexual orientation. I will not be sharing my coming out with him. But while we were distracted, our cousin swooped in, said she's bisexual on Facebook, didn't even have the guts to cause a scene at Thanksgiving, and stole the title from us. Cousins can be so rude. They come into your house and say stuff like, hey, Uncle Bill, excuse you, his name is Dad. Have some respect. But I finally come out to my family as agnostic. I've been questioning for a while, but I put it off because my mom really wanted me to get confirmed. She said, if you don't get your confirmation, you'll never be able to have a Catholic wedding. Now, I'll never be able to have a Catholic wedding for a different reason. One time, this guy told me that Catholics are idolaters because we worship the Virgin Mary. Not true. We don't worship her. We stan. Come through with the blessed fruit of your womb, Queen. My friend grew up in a megachurch. So one time I asked him, how do they give out communion at your church? He said, well, they hand you the wafer and wine in this plastic package. And I was like, you're telling me that your church serves the body of Christ out of a Lunchable? Sorry, but this is the flesh of God. You gotta at least use the fine china. Thank you. So next up, we have a returning performer from last semester from Baldwinsville, New York. Please welcome Ryan Mitchell.
I found a fork in a public bathroom the other day. The implications there are many, and they're all very concerning, because if you think about all the scenarios that would justify bringing a fork into the bathroom, there are actually none ever. Whatever this person was eating better have been made from God's tears, because that's the only valid excuse, and even then it's questionable. Like, you can't bring an Easy Mac into the bathroom. So this person left the fork in the bathroom when they walked out, which means they finished whatever they were eating while they were in the bathroom. But honestly, I think it's better, because I have no idea how you walk out of a bathroom holding food. Oh yeah, they're giving out free samples in there. You gotta try it. I don't know about you guys, but I've been pretty bored lately. I've been getting into oatmeal recently. So yeah, things have been slow. They've been slow. Speaking from experience, if you ever find yourself eating oatmeal regularly, that's pretty much a red flag that something is wrong. Like, you should only be eating oatmeal if there's nothing left in the pantry or you're 75 years old. In my case, it was neither. Oatmeal is the bare minimum for a food. It looks like it was the first food they made before they invented flavor and texture, and they just never came back around for a second pass. They saw the first draft and they're like, hot mush that tastes like nothing. Yeah, that'll work. Even the oatmeal companies, they know there's no appeal to oatmeal. They don't even bother putting what it tastes like on the packaging. They just throw in random buzzwords like heart healthy, reduces cholesterol, cures cancer, improves your credit score. But no, I've always been a pretty picky eater, but I've been trying to branch out recently, like extra cheddar goldfish instead of the original. And what I'm discovering is that there needs to be a line drawn between what we can eat and what we should eat. For example, snails. Like, I know we can't eat them. I got that part. But on the other hand, we could also probably eat mulch if we wanted to. Like, if you ever find yourself craving a snail, just grab some pizza rolls instead. You'll feel way less nauseous afterwards. Trust me. My mom told me that sometimes when she was a kid, they would have liver and onions for dinner, and they did it on purpose. Liver and onions sounds like a punishment. No, dish should be 50% onions, and the other half is liver. How did that one get the green light? Like, there was no vetting process. Nobody in the back was like, oh, hey guys, I mean, I love the concept, don't get me wrong, but maybe we just pick one, right? Maybe we swap out the onions for some cheese, the liver for literally anything else. There are some foods that are just too gross to serve, though. They can't do it. So what they do is they call it a delicacy. And what's fun about delicacies is how important context is with them. For example, if I'm eating bat poop in my house alone, I am not well, and 911 should be called. But if I'm eating a bat poop at a fashion show in Paris, it costs $5,000. I'm not a big coffee fan either, but to be honest, I'm pretty sure even the people who drink coffee don't like it because they have to add like 17 things to it before they can drink it. Like at some point, the additive is the coffee. I went to Dunkin' Donuts with my friend the other day, and she steps up to order her coffee and delivers like a Shakespeare monologue. This order was so long. I'm going to do the dark roast with 10 scoops of sugar, 12 packets of sweetener, 14 espresso shots, a half pump of caramel. Can you actually just dump out the coffee and fill it with creamer? Thanks. With all the espresso shots and sugar people put in, it's honestly probably safer and cheaper to just do cocaine. My friend has to have 2 cups in the morning before you can talk to her. And that's a policy a lot of other coffee drinkers have. And I think it's smart because that gives her an excuse to be as awful as she wants to anybody without repercussions. Like she could stab me in the face and burn all my stuff and be like, sorry, I haven't had my coffee yet. You know how I get. I do wish cocaine addicts were as open as coffee drinkers about their addiction though. Oh my God, do not talk to me before I do at least 3 lines in the morning because I tend to get a little cranky. No, but I get the same way. Like, don't talk to me in the morning before I've had at least 2 bowls of oatmeal. Thank you. Next up is a nice Jewish boy from Connecticut. Please welcome James Hyman.
Thank you very much, Ryan. Whoever coined the phrase "the more the merrier" didn't anticipate gay marriage being legalized. Having 2 moms in the same household is like signing up for push notifications twice. I get yelled at to make my bed, and before I can even get up, I'm getting yelled at again. When I first got a phone, my 2 moms would call me so often that Apple classified my home phone number as spam. They had to change the chaperone rule at my elementary school so that both of my moms could come on field trips. Blanche is the technologically inept mom. She drives me to the T-Mobile store to fix my phone, and after 20 minutes remembers we have Verizon. Blanche gets in more fights with Siri than anyone I've ever seen. She even baits Siri. Blanche will ask a question she knows Siri can't answer just so she can call her an idiot. If they ever make Siri into a robot, she's gonna beat the shit out of Blanche. Leslie is the stereotypical soccer mom. For her, Costco is like Disney World. She wants to get to Costco 2 hours before opening to go through security, get our bags checked, and find our gate. It's not like we can miss our flight. The flight pattern of the trip is always the same. I have to start with getting a bulk bag of almonds, take a left at the 40-pack of toilet paper, and God help me if I stop for a sample. We don't just bring reusable bags, but a suitcase and a carry-on as well. As long as it doesn't go over 50 pounds, we're in the clear. My moms are hypocrites. In 6th grade, my twin sister Julia invited her friend for a sleepover. So Leslie and Blanche banned all my guy friends from sleeping over that night. They didn't worry when my 10-person baseball team stayed the night. Either they forgot that kids could be gay too, or they were testing me to see if it was hereditary. I would say I passed, but I don't know what they were hoping for. I don't even know if they wanted a son. Isn't that the benefit of being a lesbian? It's just an excuse not to deal with men anymore. I think I may have ruined their life plans. They tried their best to shape me into the perfect son of lesbians. I did chorus and was the only boy in the environmental club. When I told my moms I wanted to try out for the baseball team, it was hard not to notice the disappointment in their eyes. They didn't completely fail though. I do wear 3 different sweater vests. As for my biological dad, he was a normal college kid. He always needed cash and frequently masturbated. He realized he could combine the two, so he became a sperm donor. Dad is probably not the right word for a sperm donor. Instead of memories of playing catch in the backyard, I'm only reminded of him anytime I see a test tube. Picking a sperm donor is so risky, especially with how picky my moms were. What if he's short? What if he has a plethora of hereditary degenerative diseases? Or even worse, what if he's a ginger? If someone donates a kidney, you know exactly what you're getting. Sperm is just genetic roulette. Having two moms is really as amazing as you'd expect. And no, I'm not just saying that because they're watching upstairs and haven't made me dinner yet. There are pros and cons. Because my moms didn't know what to do, right in the middle of my first baseball game, my coach had to put on my jockstrap for me. Yeah, I would have been okay without the ballet lessons, but it was worth it. That's the price I pay for having gay parents who were statistically unlikely to molest me. Thank you. Coming on to the virtual stage from Syracuse, New York, we have the wonderful and witty Vanessa Lauren.
Hi. So I don't really like the Asian stereotype drama, but I swear my family follows the freaking script. Okay, so enter uncle. What are you doing? Go study. Why are you watching TV? Well, it's because, no, medical students need to study. Why? Well, no, it's because you're going to take care of your family, yes? No, it's because I am a TV major. Trying to break out of the stereotype is not exactly following the script. When I was 12, my dad, he took me to learn karate. And I went along with it. It made him happy. I did the totally normal thing, and I just kept my double life a secret from everyone, lied about why I missed events, and now I'm a 20-year-old Asian with a useless black belt. In my household, my parents, they often speak loud. Growing up in it, you would think I would be fluent, but not exactly. My mom, she always asked me to bring up this, bring up that for her, as if I know the language. Bayao pa, she told me. Okay. So I brought up the laundry basket of towels like she asked. The pa, right? Vanessa, why are you so zero? I said bayao pa. You know how parents think that if they yell something louder, it will be understood better? Bayao pa, pa. I don't. So I do something. I do something that just might get my ass beat. I asked again. I yelled up the stairs. What does that mean? I'm answered with the thump, thump, thump. Here she comes. Oi, jockey kaklai. I'll translate, don't worry. She definitely just said, oh, no worries, sweetheart. I'll grab it. Thank you for your help. Back to reality. Right here, right here. Oh, it's fish. Duh, it's fish. Sorry, Mom, but come on, you escaped a corrupt government. You almost drowned in a river, and you survived through rough refugee camps to give me a better life. Surely you can get your own damn fish, Mom. Lao people they're really, really superstitious. During my childhood, almost every action I made resulted in some grand cosmic consequence that would forever change my life. When I was 7, I ran to my parents' bedroom because I had dreamt that my whole family was murdered by Ronald McDonald. My tears were answered with, Oi, you know why you had a nightmare? Because you didn't drink any milk. Okay, yes. Silly me, because sleep minus milk equals nightmares. Got it. Thanks, Dad. Once, when my cousin sneezed, my aunt went, who didn't shower last night? In the 4th grade, I was at my first sleepover, and the only thing I remember is warning the other 10-year-olds. Guys, we must drink milk before we, and only milk. We must drink milk and only milk before we close our eyes tonight. Samantha, do not let your parents sweep the kitchen. Shower now or face illness. I wasn't invited for another sleepover. I try not to have obsessional fears, but I can't exactly avoid milk, sneezing, showers, and brooms. But hey, at least everyone in Laos is like this. Thank you. Next up, from New York, please give it up for the crafty and creative Seth Martin Jr.
Every day when I wake up, I ask myself, does God hate me? I guess if you're Catholic, you probably don't wonder, you know. But see, I'm Anglican, which is really just diet Catholicism. All the rituals, none the boy touching. So far, I've been trapped in an elevator, set my arm on fire, dropped a bowling ball on my foot, stuck in a train in the middle of nowhere for 12 hours, and almost fell off a mountain. I think at this point, either God needs to give me a medal for surviving or kill me off like extra in a movie, which, given my skin color, probably means I'll die off screen. He also made me gay, which isn't on par with being set on fire. It just means I'm another type of flaming all the time. Gay life is harder than you think. You basically have to use calculus to find out if someone's gay or not. It goes, okay, there's a man. Is he cute? Yes, perfect. Now that I'm completely invested, is he gay? What do you mean you don't know? Look at him, he cuffs his pants. He's totally into men. But he wears socks and sandals, outdoors, to class. He's just gotta be straight. The mental gymnastics we have to do to find out if the man is gay puts Simone Biles to shame. And gays my age don't do relationships. Why? Who knows? Between the dating app Grindr, which men look for holes to fill anonymously, and Tinder, where men still look for holes to fill, but with a wholesome picture sporting a dog. It's just not conducive to building anything more than your STI panel. I've actually never been in a relationship before. I just had not relationships. Let me explain. I've captured men who want me as a sex object, but don't want me as a friend. And I've convinced them that we should talk every day so I can trap them into a relationship. I'm like a timeshare that you were talked into down in Boca. You don't really want it, but maybe your life becomes shitty enough that you have to use to get away from your real issues. I'm actually in a not relationship right now with my not boyfriend. I was gonna send some not croissants I made with some not masks, so next time I see him, we can have not sex. Who knows, maybe next time I'll see his not parents for the not holidays this year. I know, it's a weird concept, but you just have to be in it to understand. Or it has to be in you, whichever one you pick. That's why I'm starting to think the Catholics may be right about hating gays. It makes sense. If my make-believe daddy and I have issues, it's no wonder my real-life daddy issues are bad too. And these aren't your garden variety spank me daddy issues. These are, I'm going to have affairs with men. Remember when Watergate happened issues? And I do wonder what was it that ruined my relationship with my father? Maybe it's the fact I quit baseball for crocheting. Maybe it's the fact I make skirts. Maybe it's the fact I kept sleeping with his friends. It's always complicated being Black and gay. I never know which stereotype to pick that day. But when it came to my dad, though, I decided to beat the Black stereotypes the gay way. Leave him before he leaves me. Usually when a kid comes out the closet, it's the parents who reject him. But I sat my dad down and said, listen, I think we should see other people. I have a brand new daddy now, and when he hurts me, it's consensual. Thank you. All right, next on screen is a funny Italian girl from Montville, New Jersey. Please give it up for Gianna Pradenti.
I, Gianna Pradenti, have something in common with Abraham Lincoln, JFK, even Donald Trump. I too have been president, that is, of Cedar Hill Elementary School. One morning in 5th grade, when I walked into school, I saw I was running for president. My mom had put up posters with my face blown up and the slogan, "Proof for Prez." Running for office in elementary school is basically a popularity contest, which is funny because I was only popular with Mrs. Pramel, the school counselor. Yes, I've been in therapy since I was 10. I think my mom thought running for president would be good for me, and she ran a strong campaign. She made me wear this t-shirt with my face on it every day until the election. I was up against my neighbor, Juliana, but really my mom was up against Juliana's mom. A feud was going on between them because their dog insisted on only shitting in our yard. I actually won that election. I didn't really care, but my mom ate it up. My mom always told me, do what makes you happy. That really means do what makes you happy if it makes me happy. When I turned 18, I registered as a Democrat. I didn't tell my mom, knowing she'd probably smack me like that one time I told her I didn't believe in God, but she found out and sent a change of party form without me knowing. I'm an independent now. When I told her I'm a Democrat, she said, don't worry, you'll grow out of it. Now she calls me a raging liberal, so don't think I grew out of it. On election day, I texted her something enthusiastic about Biden, and she replied, I still love you, no matter how liberal you are. And she blames it on my liberal arts education. And I'm like, you're the one paying $75K for this shit. Aren't you happy I'm learning something? The most dramatic event of my life was coming out of the closet to my extended family. That is, as a liberal. I don't know how it is for the rest of the world, but for Italians, Christmas Eve is like the biggest event of the year. And I'm not talking that garbage Olive Garden tries to sell you on TV. I'm talking like $1,200 of 7 different kinds of fish, like 5 days of preparation, the whole catering set with like those little gas burners. And if it isn't as big as a wedding spread, you're doing it wrong. So last Christmas Eve, I'm just minding my own business, telling my no, I still don't have a boyfriend. Please stop asking. And I hear my uncle raving in the other room about how great it was that Trump was cracking down on immigration and those damned illegals. And my immigrant grandparents are nodding along, but I just bite my tongue. All of a sudden, I hear my mom say, don't let Gianna hear you say that. She's a liberal. My nonna starts yelling, Madonna mia, Gianna, che caso dici? Across the table, my aunt's doing the sign of the cross, my uncle choking on his shrimp. My nonna's now coming at me with the wooden spoon. I'm just trying to eat some freaking galamad in peace, and now everyone's praying the Hail Mary. I swear they would have been more accepting of me being pregnant or gay, but liberal, basically an anarchist. You know, if my journalism career doesn't take off, I might try acting, because in order to survive in my family, I get a lot of practice. Pretending to be Republican isn't actually that hard. It's what I call drinking the Trump Kool-Aid. It's like that horrible mix of cheap liquor and random liquids that frat boys find lying around mixed together and called jungle juice. Like it's not the best, but it goes down easy. And then you wake up the next day with a raging headache filled with regrets. My family, they're not really supportive of my journalism career. My nono tells me I need to be an anesthesiologist. You don't need to be as smart as a doctor, but you make money like a doctor, he says. My nonna doesn't really care as much. She just thinks I need a husband. My mom and dad, though, they wanted to see me in finance. When I told them I'm studying journalism, they said, fake news? To them, it's all fake news if it isn't Fox News. I feel good about returning home for Thanksgiving break, and I won't gloat about Biden winning, because I need a place to stay. When my sister texted in our family group chat, oh my gosh, they just called it for Biden. My dad couldn't even bother to respond. My mom, though, she says, I pray our country will survive. And not only did Biden win, my sister jumped ship. She left the sinking Titanic and joined the Biden bandwagon. I can't wait for Thanksgiving dinner. Now there's 2 of us. Thank you. Our next performer is a budding satirist from Long Island, New York. Let's hear it for Adam Spurling.
Thanks, Gianna. So the number one fear in the world is public speaking. I don't have that fear. No, the fear I have is private speaking. Okay, to explain. On one hand, weather anchor. On the other hand, saying, I love you, instead of ordering a pizza. I'm seriously convinced that the reason I don't have food allergies is my body is convincing myself to never have to send food back at a restaurant. But I don't have any irrational fears. No, I have rational fears. Like, let's say, claustrophobia, arachnophobia, accidentally downloading TikTok phobia. But I have a theory that no fear is actually irrational. Like, let's say, the irrational fear of flying. It's the rational fear of the TSA. Irrational fear of clowns? It's the rational fear of redheads. Come on. And the irrational fear of black cats? Disguised racism. Look, a lot of people tell me you grow into your own skin over time. Not true. I was the opposite. I was a confident, capable little fucker for about 12 years. And then my self-esteem just imploded. Like, I was Kanye West, and now I'm Kanye West's publicist. But somehow, despite all of this, I still have a few really good friends. And they're all girls. And that is because girls are better. Like, I love having friends that'll like share emotions with me. And, you know, I know it's not the 1950s. Men can have emotions too. But I go to the Syracuse University, you know, number 60 something academically, number 2 party school, and number 1 in male fragility. Yeah. But I think the reason that girls friend flock to me is because I don't pose a threat to women. Yeah, like most guys like pretend to be your friend and then try to sleep with you. I don't do that. See, I know my place in the food chain, and that place is not in the food chain. I'm like a herbivore on the moon. And that's why, unlike some of you guys that are cool, attractive, and sexually viable, I get like this, boom, play-by-play color commentary of a 2 a.m. text saying, Adam, I want to sleep with my boss. And I'm in there, and like, genuinely, this is true. The number one thing I want to do in my life is be the phone a friend on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. And this is the closest I've ever gotten, because I get a text. I hear, all right, Adam, we're calling on you. What booty call should I send to my boss without getting my booty fired? Is it A, come and get me, winky emoji? Is it B, no, you're so bad, devil emoji, tongue out emoji? Is it C, a full-on tit pic? Or is it D, it's too late, I already did all of those things, and I'm on my bed getting secondhand whiplash, trying to get her some firsthand whiplash? I have a confession for you, though. I steal all of my opinions. Yeah, see, I'm a democratic socialist because of, obviously, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Brilliant. I love the literature. And by literature, I mean I watched her play Among Us on Twitch one time. I do have one unpopular opinion, though, and that's that I'm team cancel culture. Yeah, no, genuinely. I'm convinced that cancel culture is good because of the people who hate cancel culture. Louis C.K., Fox News, all of our dads. But you know, like, the reason I'm fully convinced, I know for a fact cancel culture is good, is because back in Shakespeare's time, people were smarter. And what would it have looked like if someone in Shakespeare's time had to do a Notes app apology for something that they said or did that was dumb and offensive? I think it would sound a little bit like this. If we shadows have offended, you're just triggered as I intended. That you missed the irony here while my honor you have smeared. And my grossly sexist themes of tanking women's self-esteems. Simps, do not reprehend. Let me bitch and condescend. And as I am a famous puck, I'm entitled to whoever I'd like to sleep with. Now, to escape the media's tongue, I didn't sext girls 13 years young. Else the puck a liar call. Do you believe them or me, lol? Twitter's hate for me better end. You see, I have these 2 black friends. And scene. Thank you very much. And now coming to the stage from the great state of New Jersey, the man formerly known as the hooker on Euclid. He is the moment. He is Jacob Belotti.
Thank you. Wow. all you guys look great, and really gay. I love it. Ken, you've aged. You've aged. It's been a few months since I graduated, and with my sights set to the stars, I'm finally living my dreams. Working at an Amazon warehouse in Cranberry, New Jersey. Because just like all other West Hollywood gays, I'm desperate and I'll do anything. This summer, I took a 14,000-mile road trip across the country with my best friend that taught me a lot about how marvelous this country is and how marvelously stupid its people are. From the Shamu convention of Trumpers at Mount Rushmore to Succession's Roy family reunion in Bar Harbor, this country really is something special. And by special, I mean full of fat Karens. Another thing I've been doing is working on my impressions, but I've found they get oddly specific. Like I do the late Don Pardo, if you know who he is, he's the announcer for SNL. But it's Don Pardo asking a gay man on the street for directions to the metro. So it goes like, "Excuse me, could you direct me to the subway?" Excuse me? I'm supposed to meet Nassim Pedrad in 10 minutes. Sir, I'm from Billings. Do you know what? You get that one. I've also been doing Alex Jones, but he's struggling to tie his shoe. So that one's like, "Oh, Mr. Jones, are you kneeling in pain from that last DMT hit?" No, I'm tying my shoe." Oh, okay. I can't remember. Is it right over left or is it left over right? Mr. Jones, Rogan really needs you back on. This is a massive liberal conspiracy. Listen, okay, they're taking the laces and they're eating the babies, and you don't know how China's involved. China and the China virus, it's all going insane. So you can see that I'm still completely sane. Graduating in a pandemic is absurd, but I will say it's made me much more excited for the future than I used to be. Like before, I was like, "Oh my God, people." And now I'm like, "Oh my God, people." And instead of kill me, which is what I felt before November 3rd, now I'm like, "Kill me." Oh, guess that one didn't change. So there's a lot to be excited about ahead. But for now, I'll settle for personally wiping Jeff Bezos's ass. And I wanted to end here on a genuine note, talking about the wonderful Dr. Ken Frieden and Stephen Rosenfield. You guys are really amazing. I was really, really impressed with everything you've done with this group of students and everything that you did with my class back last year. And I'm really grateful as someone who's moving to Los Angeles to become someone in comedy and in comedy writing. It really has meant a lot to have your guys' support to help break me out of my shell. And I'm sure all of these students and all of the previous semester students feel the same way. So thank you so much for everything you've done.
Thank you, Jacob. It's true, I've aged. Apparently pandemics don't agree with me.
Yes.
To the audience, thanks for joining us virtually in Syracuse. I hope you've enjoyed our stand-up show. Thanks to Stephen Rosenfield for sharing his expertise in comedy and for working with my great students. Thanks to Adam Brett for technical support and to Kelly Sue Martinici for her work as my teaching assistant. And special thanks to all of our great performers who have brought you their original stand-up comedy. Thanks also go out to our co-sponsors at Syracuse University, the Honors Program and the Jewish Studies Program. Stay tuned for our next stand-up show in April 2021. Good night.